Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to let me repeat, the Rock and Roll Podcast. Check out this record. My name is Frank, and with me is my good buddy, Mark.
Hey, Frank. And hello, listener.
So soothing when you say it like that, my friend. So soothing. So we're syndicated via Redline Radio LLC out of Cleveland, Ohio, and you could also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
That's right. New episodes every Friday because Frank and I have better things to do. This is what we choose to do. And, of course, you can stream us at 11 a.m. over on Redline Radio LLC's Facebook page.
Yes. Yeah. Brand new listeners out there, this is the podcast where Mark and I will recommend albums to each other to review. Plus, we have a wide variety of musical discussions like our Spotlight series where we dig into a band's catalog and we see what comes out on the other side.
Yeah, in our Verse series, we'll pitch two albums or bands against each other and make them duke it out for complete and total stereo domination.
That's right. Be sure to check us out on Instagram, our new Facebook group. We like to drop additional content that will hopefully leave you wanting more of our musical goodness and, of course, Mark's random nonsense. Sorry, folks. And if you got a record that you want us to review, drop us a comment wherever you find us. While you're at it, subscribe, review, give us a good rating, all that good stuff. So I'm going to say this, all those things. So I'm going to say this now. Mark, how are you, my man?
Frankie, I'm good, man. Just been thinking about how dumb Superman is a lot lately. You know, maybe if Jor-El hadn't built one rocket big enough for one baby, the elders of Krypton would have taken his doomsday predictions a little more seriously. Also, you know how Clark should have destroyed the Earth in like a 3-year-old temper tantrum and just accidentally cut the moon in half and like half of it crashed into the Earth while the other half went into space. You know, little stuff like that. Superman sucks.
Should we ever talk about how much Marlon Brando received for that limited time that he was actually on camera?
I know that in Superman 4, Richard Pryor got $5 million.
Woo!
How much did Brando get?
Man, that's a good question, actually. We should research that real quick.
Oh, you knew.
Oh, sorry. I know. Oh. It's like I say something, but now we got to do it. I'm sorry. So how much did Marlon Brando get?
You knew that. I happen to know how much. Yeah.
So it was let's see. At that time, it was an unprecedented amount. It was paid $3.7 million.
Wow, Richard Pryor got more. Good job, Richard Pryor. But Richard Pryor had to do a lot more. It's a lot of physical comedy. He was skiing down the side of that office building, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
That movie sucked.
It did. And just for the record, Brando had 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes on screen. So
yeah. And half of the time, his face was a crystal.
It was.
Yes.
It was. Oh, man, that's so awesome. That seems like another episode, and I wish maybe we could go into that.
Great score up and down. John Williams, man. Woo!
Totally. So, last episode we interviewed, which now I believe is to be our buddies from High on Stress, and that was fun. And our main feature tonight is a recommended album that the singer Nick recommended to us. But before we get into that, Mark, and before we get into our top 10, there's one thing we have to talk about.
Sure.
You ready?
Yeah.
You had a good time. Well, first of all, you had a good time interviewing High on Stress, right?
Yeah, good dudes. They're good dudes. So
I've
been trying to put it off. What's this one thing you keep referring to?
Man, so in my conversations with people, this hipster thing keeps coming back. Yeah, and it's one person, but the hipster thing keeps coming back. And I have a question for you, and it's okay, I guess, if we are, but do you really think that we're hipsters, me and you, Frank and Mark?
I might be, but probably not. And you, on the other hand, you don't even care what I think, and I'm arguably your best friend, so I don't know.
That is true. You are my best friend for sure.
Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome.
Validation.
It feels good.
Yeah.
So let's look at the definition of a hipster is this. Sure. So it's a person who follows the latest trends and fashions, not us, by the way, especially those regarded as being outside the cultural mainstream. Okay. So yeah, thank you. I don't know if people have seen us by the way we dress, but it's not that of the latest fashions and trends. In fact, today I have cargo shorts on and my wife told me, hey, listen, those things have been out for like 10 years. I had no idea. no idea that cargo shorts were out. Okay. I wear glasses. Guess what? Because my eyes suck. Okay. I've heard before. I have a beard. Sorry, I have a beard because the hair on my head is thinning every day as my kids get older and moodier. So that's why that occurs, right? I lost 50 pounds a few years ago. So of course I'm going to wear smaller clothes, right? Who wouldn't?
Yeah, you got to tighten up.
So I'm letting it out here.
Yeah, let it out, buddy. I don't want you poisoning yourself with this anger, that you're keeping inside, this resentment. And I'm pretty sure I found those 50 pounds if you want them back, because they're right here in my belly.
There you go. And listen, as far as music goes, let's look at Mount Rushmore as an example of the songwriters, right? You stated Dylan, Leonard Cohen, Tom Waits, Elvis Costello. Okay, so by definition of a hipster, excuse me,
right.
I think it's safe to say that at least 3 out of those 4 are part of the cultural mainstream. And some of our favorite bands, Metallica, the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Motorhead, we just may like those songwriters and bands more so than what the majority likes. And our
Motorhead rules.
Right, thank you. And our favorite tracks may not be the singles, but bands like Metallica and the Beatles, come on, man. Everyone knows their brand, right, Mark?
Yeah. Frank, I know what you're trying to say with this, and I'd be more than happy to step on this landmine, if you will.
Please.
Ketchup is for basic bitches. Superman, basic bitches. Pumpkin spice, garbage. Salad days loving motherfuckers who can't get past what a great time they had in college and or high school and lack the imagination to accept that there are more flavors outside of sweet and salty, with everything from music to the TV shows you watch to the same rehashed comic books with 37 different Supermans, because you won't buy a book if the retard on the cover doesn't have a big red S on his chest. And fuck off, Frog Thor. Fuck off. Band that sounds like the diet version of a better band, stay in the garage or in the basement until you sound like yourself. I love a good cover. Frank will tell you I love a good cover.
We all do.
In the recording process, he's above me in case you're at home and wondering why I'm pointing up. Not the point. But sound like yourself. Don't sound like a cover band. Don't sound like a cover album. Be yourself. It's okay. I mean, listen, I'm really passionate about this. Like, I know that you really connected with Blink-182 because they wrote shitty, childish songs about being shitty and childish when you were shitty and childish. But are you the same shitty, childish kid? I hope not. So maybe your taste in music can grow too. If that's the zenith of the art, if that's your zenith to this art form, give me a gun. I'm just going to go ahead and eat it and never have to deal with your bottomless standards, other people's regurgitated opinions, or your boring fucking lifestyle. I hope that sounded as cool as I wrote it. It's a lot. Oof.
Dude, that's a lot, and this is exactly why I opened some doors in our conversations, because I know Mark.
You scallywag, I stepped right into it.
Stepped right into it, number one. And number two, he's going to put together something as beautiful as that, and that's why I love him. So there you go. There you
Listen, seriously, though. Right, for those of you who are tuned in for the first time, we're clearly making fun of Frank's buddy Brian. Right? Brian knows that we love him. Listen, he's busting your balls. You got to let him bust your balls a little bit. I know he's not a great sport about taking it. He's a better sport about giving it, but he'll be fine. He's a good dude. He sells shitty beer. It's not his fault.
Ew.
It's not his fault. He just works for the company. He doesn't make it. Don't take it personal, buddy. We love you. Stop calling Frank a hipster. Neither one of you know what it means. It's fine.
Yes. And for the record, he calls you a hipster too. So anyway,
I might be. I don't know.
So some traits of what the opposite of history that is, of a hipster possesses. Let me read these to you, because I find a kinship with them. Are being a fuddy-duddy. Let's see, a dinosaur, an old geezer.
Definitely.
Conservative. That's me. Old fart. Pretty much sums me up. So that's it right there. That's all your proof that you need, because that's me. If those who know me, I make no bones about it. It is who I am. Sorry. So anyway, that's that conversation. And Mark, I'm going to totally just flip and do a 180 on you.
Sure, please.
You like figs?
You'll always be my fuddy daddy, Frank. I wouldn't say I like figs. I also wouldn't say I dislike figs. And if I never had another one, I don't know that I would be missing anything. What about you?
So I think the Fig Newton was my first cookie that I fell in love with.
Your first cookie crush.
Yes, and Fig Newtons are badass, by the way. But I mentioned that because the band we're reviewing tonight is called Big Dish. So I was thinking, Mark, if we had to do a top 10, let's do a top 10 of bands with a food product in their name, right? And we could say, hey, listen, do we like this food or do we not like this food? And a few thoughts about the band. So what do you think? We're going to do 5 each. How does that sound?
That sounds good. Two things. One, Fig Newton, if you're listening, please like and comment below so that we can get in contact with you about a possible product placement deal.
Yes.
And second, wow, you really took the long way around to get to that, didn't you?
Pretty much, yeah. I don't know what the hipster stuff had to do with it, but we fell into line there.
Sure. Why don't you kick us off, bud?
All right. You want to alternate 1 and 1, right?
Yeah, let's live.
All right, cool. So here's my top 5, and Mark has top 5 also, rounding to 10, obviously. So my first one is going to be Neutral Milk Hotel. I used to love milk, and I'm a big fan of chocolate or strawberry milk. But nowadays, listen, I'm an old guy, so it's almond milk for me. As the band goes, I mean, Two-Headed Boy is actually one of my favorite songs of all time, and I really appreciate them. But I'm torn between, am I supposed to like them, or do I just really like that one song? So that's up to debate. That could be a future episode. But that was my first one, was Neutral Milk Hotel. What about you, my man?
Yeah, I agree with you on the almond milk. Getting old sucks, kids, don't do it. It's a trap. But honestly, and I'm not just saying this, I've never heard of this fucking band before.
All right. So that could be one we cover in a future episode.
Yeah. I know people talk about them. I have no idea. So mine, my number 5 is going to be the Bomb Pops. I do love a good ice pop, and the Bomb Pops do a great job of selling the kind of very West Coast pop punk sound. It's kind of classic. I dig the girl singers. I don't always connect with the songs, but I think they sound great. They're a fun band, and in the summertime, who doesn't like a nice pop?
There you go.
Thank you.
I know that guy does right there.
Yep,
right there.
This guy.
Cool. So my next one is the band Blind Melon. I love Melon. I don't like Blind Melon at all.
Shannon, not even the single?
Yeah. Shannon Hoon never just did it for me as far as inspiration goes. No Rain, I always found to be a silly song. On their follow-up album, I do remember a song called Galaxy that I actually moderately liked. Other than that, they were just around there for me and nothing pretty crazy. So that was my next one, Blind Melon.
What's top 2 kinds of melon?
Oh, so I'm gonna have to go with watermelon and then honeydew. That's it.
Ooh, good combo.
What about you?
Good combo. I like a nice cantaloupe, but I do like a nice honeydew. Watermelon's nice too, though. I mean,
cantaloupe was third, so I mean they're all great.
Yeah.
Cool.
So for me, number 2. Oh, and as far as the band goes, whatever. My number 4 pick, is The Draft. So musically, I'm referring to the Hot Water Music side project. I'm a huge fan of the 2006 album, In a Million Pieces. Really fantastic record.
Great album.
If you like Hot Water Music, check it out. If you don't, if you just like a good rock and roll record, it's a great record.
Great album.
And of course, I love me some good The Draft beer.
Right up your alley, man.
Right up my alley.
Yep. I love The Draft. Low Zeros is a fantastic song.
Yeah.
That album's a good rock and roll record, and good choice.
Thank you.
So my next is Meat Puppets. I love meat, all meat, any type of meat. You just throw it at me, I'm on it. Another band that I appreciate in theory, but I probably need to do more listening. Obviously known for coming in and playing with Nirvana on Unplugged. I've heard their first few records are coined as cowpunk. I didn't know they actually dated all the way back to 1980. Maybe in the future, again, we dive into them more, but
into that.
Love me a good steak, filet, T-bone, prime rib, as long as I don't choke on it. We're good.
So you're mostly doing red meat here. Is that what you're looking at with these meat puppets? Red meat?
I am. Yeah. For some reason, I associate it with red meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Frank did work in a grocery store for a while, so it's not surprising that he's specific about that. It's again another band I'm not all that familiar with. I have gout, so I have to be careful with the red meat. So
Yeah.
But I do enjoy nice meat now and then too, as you say it.
And the puppet.
I've never made a puppet out of a meat, but
Right.
I like puppets and I like meat. So
it's like taking two things you like and just putting them together.
Yeah, whether they should be together or not. Yep. So that's actually a great segue for my number 3 choice. It's going to be the band Pears. That's P-A-R-S. They're heavy, melodic, blistering, pointed, and surprisingly catchy. The band's pretty great too. These dudes don't sound like anyone else, which I love. They're punk, but I'll leave it to you to try to subdivide them into a category further. Plus the fruit's nice. So I once had one that came in like a gold foil, and let me tell you, yum.
Classy,
Yeah.
my man. Classy.
Yep. Thank you. I mean, it wasn't like it was like, hey, I've got some of these gold pears. Do you want one? And I was like, when am I going to happen upon gold pear again? I didn't get my own. Somebody didn't send me a crate. I was offered one as a peasant.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, I like Pears, and I've grown more fondly of the band as well. The more I listen to them, the more they grow on you. So good choice. Good choice.
Thank you.
The fourth one is Meatloaf.
Oh,
so
good
I'm
shit, Bob.
very iffy with the food Meatloaf, and for those who know me, I like 99% of the foods out there. I had a bad experience once with my grandmother making a hard-boiled egg in the middle of it, and I found it to be completely nasty, especially the day after.
Well, she didn't unshell it, right?
No,
do you remember that story right? The shell was still on it?
Yeah, so you do remember the story right, and B, it wasn't unshelled.
Well, because there are cultures where they'll hard boil an egg, and then almost like a Scotch egg.
Yes.
They'll do it on purpose.
Yes.
But you got to peel it, and that's the question, right? It's like, oh wait, I couldn't remember if she had peeled it or not, and you just didn't like it, or if.
Yeah, this was done on senile, so yeah, because she was losing her mind. Yeah. So
yeah.
that's what happened. As far as the singer goes, what's that?
I said living with you.
That's right. As far as the singer goes, listen, my wife can't stand his songs, and yes, they're very Celine Dion-esque. But I mean, listen, the dude's got a voice. I don't necessarily turn his stuff off when it's on. Not going out of my way to listen to it either. I never knew his daughter actually was married to Scott Ian from Anthrax, so that's a fun factoid. So
that's cool. Yeah. No. I don't know. I think at one point I had one of the Bat Out of Hell albums, like on a CD or something.
Right.
Paradise by the Dashboard Lights is a cool song. He's got a great set of pipes on him. You're right though. That Celine Dion-esque-ness of him is kind of weird. Some of that stuff does kind of get weird and poppy, but whatever, dude. I can see being super passive about Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both the food and.
All right, so I'm going to talk shit about fat guys now. You ready?
Nice. Do it.
Number 2 for me, I think, is the direction we're going. Municipal Waste.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't pick food. I picked a thrash band. Look, if you like fast food, you might as well be eating Municipal Waste. Lord knows I am, and I'm paying for it with my life.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice.
That's a lot like the blistering fast thrash metal demigods, Municipal Waste.
That's right.
Painfully self-aware, they are capable of embracing a brutal sound while acknowledging how toxic it actually is. And isn't. Check out The Art of Partying. I fucking love that record. It's super cool. Be sure to grab some cheap beer, some greasy fast food. You'll thank me when it's done and over.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good call. All right, so my final one is the band Cake. I'm a big Cake, the food fan. Definitely needs to have variants. Like, it can't be all chocolate or vanilla. I need multiple flavors of my cake. With regards to the band, I've never gotten them, nor their mass appeal. I think they're absolutely silly, and they just don't do anything for me.
I'm a little surprised by that, just because they're such one of those like 90s iconic bands. Maybe a little kookier than like a Sonic Youth, but in that kind of cool 90s realm. I just would have thought you would have like dug it. I kind of like some of the short skirt, long jackets. Like, some of it's kind of fun. But it's been a long time since I've tried to listen to a Cake record, so I could be talking out my asshole.
I don't trust the fun. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. All right. So, in case you haven't guessed it, ladies and gentlemen, the Check Out This Record's number 1, number 10, however you're counting it, food-related band, excuse me, there it is.
Nice.
None other than Green Jelly. Yeah, that's right. A band as silly as the food itself, right, Frank?
That's right.
They brought us classics like Three Little Pigs, Serial Killer, and Obey the Cow God.
Love it.
Super fun band to see live. I think it's just the singer right now, traveling around the country with paper mache heads, and he just gets a local band to learn his songs, and they put on this wacky show, and the audience participates. It's like if Guar were safer on the outside. You know what I mean? Like it's really fun. It's really interactive. It's a good time. You don't know any of the songs, but you know all of the songs. They're a lot of fun.
I love it. I remember getting the cassette single to the Three Little Pigs song and putting that thing in, and my father was hysterical. I let the girls listen to it. They thought it was a riot. That's so good. So good. Yeah. So good. Now I want to listen to the song.
I totally did while making my list.
Nice.
And I was like, I listened to that whole record, and I was like, oh, this dude's so ridiculous. Good for him.
Good for him, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So in last week's episode, we interviewed the band, of course, High on Stress, and Nick, the singer, we left off where he suggested an album for us to check out and review. And the album was by a band named Fig Dish, and it's their 1995 major label debut album. That's what love songs often do. Okay, so quick history, because I didn't know anything about Fig Dish. Mark, I think it's safe to say you didn't know about them either, right?
Not a thing. Nothing at all.
Formed in Chicago, Illinois in 91. Their name was chosen due to the similarity in pronunciation to the vulgar German phrase Fick Dish, which, Mark, what do you think that means?
I mean, it sounds like it's a dick comment.
Right, it does. It's actually the F word, right? So it's,
yeah. Well, I learned that. I wrote that down.
Yep. So the band, of course, had influences originating with the 80s college rock and indie bands, Dinosaur Jr., Replacements, Cheap Trick, and in Chi-Town, we had a bit of a scene there. And in the 90s, we had Mark's favorite band, the Smashing Pumpkins. We had... Sorry.
Whoa.
I know.
Pump those break, Missy.
I know. Mark wants to end the episode right now. Verugasol and Local H. That I brought.
Is Local H from Chicago?
They are from Chicago. And I had a quick follow-up question that's not in the script, but do you like Local H?
No. I mean, I kind of remember that one song, but...
Bound for the Floor or whatever?
Yeah, and I like that as a turn of phrase.
Yeah.
Especially when you're an alcoholic like I am.
There you go.
Yeah. Did that get you with that?
Yeah.
So...
Maybe another band we explore into as well.
I mean, if we got it, all right.
Sorry. Maybe how about if somebody suggests it to us?
Don't know. I'm not. You can't make a Facebook page for your daughter and have her suggest it. That's not going to happen. No.
Mark knows me so well, guys. That's exactly what was going on. So the band broke up in '98, citing the label A&M as putting forth zero effort to provide the band exposure outside of their native Chicago. So the final straw, and I'm not making this up, is when it was said that an $80,000 soft porn music video was made for their song When Shirts Get Tight, and it did feature porn stars. The band had to pick up the tab for the video that never received airplay on MTV.
Oh.
Pretty crazy, right, Mark? And I saw the video on YouTube, and it was a good laugh. We have Janine, the porn star, prior to Blink, and yes, I know her name. And so, so initial thoughts just to the events here, Mark, because it's pretty crazy.
Well, I mean, first of all, wow. But I don't have any empathy for bands from the 90s that kind of got fucked on contracts. Like, hire a lawyer, dude. I don't know what to fucking tell you. Plus your name... Yeah, excuse me. Plus, you named your band "Fuck You" in German, so I can't imagine anyone who wouldn't want to take advantage of them. And go watch the video, folks. If this
classic,
I'm sorry, it's so ridiculous. They deserve to have to pay for that video. They were having a great time the whole time. They clearly never said no to it. So I'm sorry, you guys need to pony up for this video because it sucks. First thoughts on That's What Love Songs Often Do. This is a boring 90s commercial rock record, and I'm going to hate it. Which is tricky because sometimes, there can be more hidden below that kind of below the surface, right, Frank?
Absolutely.
So the question is, will Mark find the diamond in the rough? Will there be gold buried in them hills? Stay tuned. Oh, personnel-wise, we got Blake Smith on guitar and vocals. We've got Rick Ness. I looked, no relation to Mike Ness.
I was going to say, is there a relation?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I just couldn't find anything. It was hard to find any additional information on these guys. Mike Wilson on bass and vocals. And then Andy Hamilton on the drums.
All right. Right.
Yeah.
So on paper, this is something that would be right up my alley, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. And I've gone back and forth with this album. And I think, of course, Mark, is always the best thing we could do is let's get right into a track by track review, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So first track, Bury Me. I had a hard time with this song. Again, the ingredients are here. Loud guitars, traditional song structure, a voice that isn't overly annoying to me. So what is it exactly? Well, for me, it's the other important ingredient, and that's melody. The verse melody I wasn't into, and I know that's not a black or white explanation, so I do apologize, and this is all subjective, but I just didn't like it, and it didn't settle well inside the old brain. So I had a hard time with this song. What about you for Bury Me?
I kind of dug this intro, and as an intro for the record, but Rick Ness' constant rhyme scheme suggests he's lazy or doesn't know how to write a song without rhyming every other line, which really kind of threw me off. And it's kind of weird because this kind of like nonsensical lyrics thing and over rhyming is part of what people consider to be their signature sound, and they really dig. And I am not one of those people. Plus, when they take the chorus up a few octaves at the end, and they kind of and like intentionally crash the song. I don't really get it. I'm at this point I'm checking out of the whole record, let alone the whole song, just based on the first track. It was really, it left a bad taste upon my ears. But
we have a long way to go. I'm sorry to break that to you.
We sure do. The record rolls on. Track 2 is Weak and Mean. This is the other guitarist, Blake Smith, singing on this one, which is pleasant thing after how bland and boring Bury Me just is to me. That song sucks if you didn't hear me just say it. I dig the slow pace and the tone of this number. It sets up his lyrics to be taken a little more seriously than the constant rhyming. There are some guitar notes used to accent little parts, like as a background part, and they're just off key a little bit, and it fucks with me. Kind of like, when you drink like a tart lemonade or you bite a lemon and you get like your whole jaw lights up? That's what that note sounds like for me. This is a somberly mediocre song.
Mediocre. Yeah. I like this song better than the first song. The little aggression in Blake's voice, I like. We do get some harmonies and a solo. To me, this is very 90s. However you imagine rock to sound like in the 90s, you have it here. All I could say thus far is I enjoyed it more than the first track. So now we get into Seeds. So I wouldn't say this song touches the edges of 90s emo, like Sunny Day Real Estate and what they were doing. But it kind of almost gets in that direction. If it wasn't close to 5 minutes, I think it could have been a single and at least gotten some rotation on shows like 120 Minutes, which used to be hosted by Matt Pinfield. But again, it's close to 5 minutes, so that's all I have to say, and that's going to be a common theme. Go ahead, Mark.
Do you know what Matt Pinfield's doing right now?
All I know is he lives in San Francisco and he has a radio show, right?
I don't know. I was just asking.
Oh,
if you knew what Matt Pinfield was doing right now.
He's got a really. So if you YouTube Amoeba Records in Hollywood, because you'll get to see the What's in My Bag. It's kind of a series that they do. His episode is the most intriguing, and what's inside his bag is the most intriguing because the guy eats, lives, and breathes, just music and knows so much. So that's a cool episode to watch. But yeah, sorry, go ahead. That's
no. I mean, way to step on my joke. It's fine. Seeds actually was a single.
It was. Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Sung by Blake Smith there, I believe. It's hard to tell because the voices are similar between the two guys.
Extremely similar.
So it was hard for me to tell who was singing on this one, and I'll be honest, I kind of gave up after this one of trying to figure out who was who. Spoiler alert. Anyways, definitely kind of poppy 90s rock number. Way too long for me, but the best on the album so far?
Question mark?
I like this better than the first two songs, I guess.
Okay.
Track 4, Futile. Yeah, we're so 90s and edgy. Why the fuck wasn't this the intro? Why the fuck was this intro to the song? It just what are we doing? It's a cool enough song, but you can rock out for more than a minute before you just slow the whole thing down again. It gets a bit heavy, and then the lyrics have an air of like almost biting maturity. Like this I almost feel like they're saying something in this one. But it never goes back to that really cool opener that should have been this entire song. What can I tell you? This track is way too long.
Yeah, so I didn't care for this one. It's another 4-minute plus song that's tough with it being at such a steady pace. So if we're talking about albums in their context, right, then track 4 shouldn't be the snoozer, right, in my opinion. The na is that whole bit. It just feels like he couldn't figure out how to complete the lyrics, and this is at the end of the day what we got, right? Wasn't a fan. Nimble, track 5, Nimble. So some more mid-90s indie emo clean guitar riffs going on here. I like how it picks up speed and gets aggressive on guitar. I like the dig your nails in and drag and how that leads into the riffy parts. It's songs like this that gives you, I think, a lot of different types of rock, from the slower melodic verses to what I explained earlier with the riffs. I don't know. This one's not a bad tune here. I didn't mind this track. What about you?
This track is aggressively all right. At best, that line, dig your nails in and drag. It feels like the first half of a lyric to me. Like there's supposed to be more to that, but he couldn't think of anything, so he just repeated it 3 times and called it a chorus. I'm really bored with this record, and we're not even halfway through, Frank.
Not even. Sorry to say.
So that. So far the verdict is aggressively okay. Track number 6, Wrong Nothing. Boy, if you want a little crunchy, fuzzy guitar into a wide open ooh part, and then repetitive, generic lyrics, this is your song. It just does that a bunch of times, and eventually it ends. It's got like a cool riff, right? But like, that is fucking this whole record. Like, why is this thing so long? Go ahead, Frank.
Well, this is not ending because we're not even at track 7 yet. So I get some of their Chicago buddies, local age vibes here in the chorus. It's got some spacey moments, and we get another actually welcome solo. I'll take the solo, but it suffers in that the pace is monotonous, especially with the drum and the bass. So my interest is lost. It's lost at this current moment. Quiet Storm King, number 7. I like it right off the bat, and that the fact that the tempo is different, some of the most upbeat that we've gotten thus far. There's not much other to say because I'm already exhausted at track 7, other than I liked the track in contrast to the others. What about you?
Yeah, this is a masterclass in stuffing too many parts that don't go anywhere into a single song. Nice. The chorus duet is nice, but it feels like it's from another song entirely. It just feels like a bunch of different parts of a bunch of songs shoved on top of each other. Those solos are terribly boring as well. These guitar solos just put me to sleep. I've never been more bored with guitar solos. I'm sorry. Track number 8 is called Going On.
Going On.
This song is a formulaic trash, and I want nothing to do with it. I wrote that. Let me read that again. Yes. This song is formulaic trash, and I want nothing to do with it. That said, it's probably the best guitar solo on the record, and it's still not that great.
There you go. There you go. Now, this song really opened my eyes as to what's wrong with the album, and it lacks replayability. It really does. Here we are. So in track 8.
It's still on. It's still on for the first time. It's so long. Oh, it goes
track
nowhere.
8. And yet another 4-minute steady beat styled song. You're going to lose people that way. Now, I get it. It's a style, and that's what bands do. I get it. But someone had to be listening to this along the way and say, oh, man, maybe on this 50-minute track record, we can omit 2 songs and trim it down just a little bit. Because if I'm already exhausted from it now, how am I going to feel 5 tracks from now? Because that's what we have. We have 5 tracks from now.
I say you shave 1.5 minutes from all 13 songs. Call
it a day. There you go. That's it. Lemonader is next. And Lemonader clocking in at 4:03. So it's the 4th 4-minute song, and my attention span is completely in distress right now. It's not a bad song by any means. I actually like the middle 8 and the chorus, but I'm depleted, drained, bankrupt of all attentiveness. I'm done.
You know, speaking of bankrupt of all attentiveness, the intro to this song feels like they're drinking coffee, and then that coffee kicks in during the first verse, and suddenly they're awakened into a bridge and a song, and it's the whole thing's nice.
That's it. That's it.
Fig Dish, it's okay to leave parts out of songs. It doesn't go anywhere. Stop shoving it in the song. This song is too long, and it fucking goes nowhere.
That's why you have demos, right? That's why you have demos.
Blissfully moving on. Track 10, Roll Over, Please. So I got to tell this to Frank in bed all the time.
Yes. Always.
Ooh.
Always. And I obey, just for the record.
Yeah, what's with this intro? We're 10 tracks in, and we're like, they're gearing up. You know, I can hear amps switching on like we're starting the fucking record out. For fuck's sake, Fig Dish, I'd rather not talk about it, but you're going to kill me with this fucking rhyme scheme. What is with you and needing to rhyme every fucking line to the next fucking line? The song lacks any depth or complexity. This is the first song. Excuse me. This is a fast song for dudes who don't like fast songs. But if you just want, it lulls me to sleep. This record is so fucking boring, Frank.
Yeah, so I mean, like there is some variants where you get that chunky palm muting part in the beginning. It's different, and here we go again with the upbeat drum beat. I mean, the rest of the song's okay. I'm kind of neutral on it. I think we get to see that the band can do something else, but for some reason they choose not to.
Not to do anything with it?
Not to do anything with it, right? And here we go. Track 11, It's Your Ceiling. It's not 4 minutes. Oh, it's 3 minutes and 44 seconds. I mean, I don't want to sound repetitive, but here we go. It's not another bad song. It's catchy, and you have nice blaring guitars, but again, like you're losing the engagement. That's all I could say.
Have I been too mean so far, Frank?
Maybe a little bit, but I think I've been pretty.
I think one of the things I want to try to do, I want to try to find something nice to say about every record, even if I hate it.
Yes, so, we have to. Yes.
Best line on this album comes from this song. It's got this slow, blissful bleeding. If that's what you want, at my low, it's your ceiling. Yeah. Otherwise, the song is a slog to get through. The intro is way too long, surprisingly. And when it picks up, it's like a fart faster. It doesn't get any faster, just to slow itself back down again for no fucking reason, but to include the drums. If it weren't for the cool chorus, this song should have been left on the editing room floor. This is terrible.
There you go. You're doing yep.
Yes,
that's you.
Resistance is futile. Fuck all 6 minutes of this song. Not everything needs to be a long, mellow fucking intro. What's with this fucking line for line rhyme scheme? I mean, it's the entire fucking song. This is not a good song. It's not good songwriting. This is cheap and childish, and I'm so over this fucking record.
Yeah, so you know what I'm going to say? It's 5 minutes and 57 seconds. And
all 6 minutes of it.
Yeah, and it sounds like the end of the album, and I would totally take that at this point. I would take the end of the album to occur. because the mood and the song represents it. Again, listen, I'm hearing some Sunny Day Real Estate, and that's actually funny because if one were to listen to this with the way I'm saying it, you would be like, oh, Sunny Day Real Estate is the elder here. But actually, they were formed in '92, and Fig Dish was a year earlier. So, in fact, they're contemporaries. But at this point, I would take not only this to be the end of the album, but I would take a Sunny Day Real Estate record at any day of the week. So, yeah, Resistance is Futile. It sure is. That's all I could say. 13 is First History. I think we could have ended with the previous track, but here we go. This is the official closer. I could see where it came into play, especially with the musical outro for the last minute and a half. The song doesn't go anywhere for me personally, but it wraps up the album, and thank God it does. So go ahead, Mark.
Thank fuck this boring record is over and finally coming to a close. I'm so excited. You know what it needs? It needs another minute-long intro to another song, because just start the fucking song already. Like, it's not that hard. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, and you start the song, Frank. Can't get away fast enough. He knows how I feel listening to this record, and how and he knows I just want it to end, but he's dragging it out just to keep me here and to keep me miserable.
Yeah.
I don't know what this song is doing here. You just had as Frank mentioned, the 6-minute closer, and then this song literally just to, kind of turn the drum set on one more time. Like, I don't understand the point of this song. The solos are oversaturated and sound like shit. If it weren't for that dog barking to finally signify that the album was over, I would have killed myself. And why? Why is this record a thing? This record sucks. Frank, your final thoughts?
Why does this record even happen? Listen, it was vastly okay. Okay. And I hope Nick is able to influence them to get back, because I know Nick was very passionate about it. So all the power to you, my man. I listened to some of the next album, and it's also not bad. The album, it fails to keep my attention, and that is largely due to the length of the songs. As Mark said, shave off a minute and a half or even 2 minutes of some of these songs, and they all hover around the same length, and it's too much. It's too much. Like any band, when you do this and there isn't much variance, it doesn't create a very exciting experience for the listeners, and that's what we're looking for at the end of the day. I do think some of the tunes are well written, but I think others, I question the melody. I know you're going to say, well, who am I? And you're right, who am I? But that's what we're doing here, right? So
you're Frank.
I am Frank.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Mark.
And that's Mark. So that's who we are. So listen, I'm not going out and getting this tomorrow. If I'm getting a bunch of stuff from a record store and I see it on, used for like $2.99, I would add it, to the collection because, hey, we reviewed it. That's my thoughts. Mark?
I'll pull this out of your record collection and put it in the trash.
There you go.
This sounds like a record executive took some half-decent musicians, a little bit of a songwriter, and tried to get them to do exactly what the company thought was right. It's way too fucking long. Each song is bloated and vapid. Each song has an excessive intro, in case I haven't pointed that out to you enough. So you know that you've moved on to the next track, because the tracks just kind of bleed into each other, because they're literally just one, like, 41 miles an hour, 42 miles an hour, 43 miles, 42 miles an hour. Like, they're all the exact same speed, and it makes me fucking insane. There are 2 or 3 cool lyrics throughout, the gluttony of bad rhyme schemes and ooh parts. There's a couple things, the drums and bass are decent. It's a decent enough rhythm section. I did have a lot of issues between the guitar solos and those accent notes that were clearly out of key and meant to be. It just left a bad taste in my ears. I didn't hear any of that kind of emo that you mentioned,
right.
But that's more of your thing. To me, it was kind of more of that generic, little more local H, or at least what I can remember of local H, kind of 90s alt rock sound, just without the balls to be grunge. You know what I mean? Like it, and it's weird because if you guys go watch that video, these guys don't have a problem being pigs. I don't know why they don't have a problem getting loud. It doesn't make sense to me. Hey, Nick, thanks for the recommendation.
Absolutely, man. And we love recommendations too. So
please.
Yes.
Nick's a great guy. Go listen to his record. That's my recommendation. Check out that record. It's better than this one.
Yeah. So check it, Hold Me In by High on Stress. I'll be getting that on vinyl soon. I'm totally amped for that. So thank you, Nick,
Nice.
for making that happen. I appreciate it, buddy. All right. So next episode, Mark, are you ready for this? Here we go.
Absolutely, hit me.
Here we go. So I am selling Mark on this band. I know you were a fan in high school, but I think most just associate them with the hits, and there's a lot of goodies to uncover. And I'm talking about those brothers who are currently not even on speaking terms with each other, Noel and Liam Gallagher from the band that they were in, Oasis. I have tasked myself to put together a 12-song playlist on Spotify of the tracks that I love, and I will share with Mark for use in the review, and we're going to be acting like as if these 12 tracks were on a collective album. Mark is to hold me accountable for not only track selection for the album, but the flow. And Mark, are you amped, ready, and game for this?
First of all, I was in middle school when the album with Champagne Supernova came out on it. Was that just called Champagne Supernova? Was it in that record?
Yeah, no, that was on what's the story? Morning Glory. That's the name of the record.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I was in middle school when I liked that. That just as a disclaimer. I don't think they're a band that's going to mean fuck all outside of those hits. So I'm interested to see what you bring up. And I like that you set the challenge to see if I can hurt your feelings. So.
Yes.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
I love it. I'm up for the challenge.
Then we're going to do Motorhead, because you don't have to sell anyone on how cool Motorhead is. Motorhead's just that cool.
That is true. We wouldn't have to do an episode on that, right? So I'm up. If there are preconceived notions, which I don't know, I'm up to possibly altering them. I know Mark will, and my request is that there's a clean slate looking at these songs that I selected, and to take an earnest look and to see if you really think they are well-written songs. If you don't, hey, listen, that's cool. I'm a big boy with a developed cortex, and I could take the critiques, but I'm amped really to do this, and I think me and Mark are gonna have a lot of fun with it. So really excited about that. And folks, and until next time, be sure to leave a review, like, comment, suggest an album to us for us to review. And I say this as I always say: be safe, everyone.
I can't believe you told them about my underdeveloped cortex.
Sorry, man.
I'm so embarrassed now.
Sorry.
Bye-bye.